I remember when I was young and I would walk through a store like this and I would see all the pretty things and I would dream someday I might have enough money to buy something. When you get older, you have the money, but you no longer have the want. After 1 year on YouTube, let me just say it is a complete honor and privilege that you have accepted me. Thank you so much for being here and helping me celebrate my 2 years on YouTube. Does it seem like it's been 2 years? For those of you that don't know, my name is Susan and I am known as Little Poet on YouTube, and this video today is celebrating my 3 years on YouTube. I don't know, just a guess, but any woman you might give this to would probably be offended. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? Now why would somebody design that? I think this is the kind of blouse you would either love or hate. No matter how old I get, when I see a handbag, I want it. I rarely buy it, but I still want it. Princess Diana look. Oh wow, this also reminds me of my 4th grade teacher. I remember once she told me I was a know-it-all, and I said, I know I am. Oh dear, I wasn't going to buy anything, but how much do I love that coat. Wow. The most underrated gift in America, a brand new can opener. My name is Susan, and I'm known as Little Poet on YouTube, and I'm so glad you're here. Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi today, and I hope you had a good week. This is a really emotional week for me. This is my 10-year anniversary being on YouTube. And, you know, I stopped doing anniversary videos because I get so emotional about it all. You know, a decade of my life, and so much of that I shared with you, and I just love you so much. And so today, what I did is I went to Facebook and I asked you, were there any burning questions you wanted to ask me or Desi? And you filled up the page. So here I am to answer some of your toughest questions. Kind of. And I hope that somehow by the end of the video, you'll know me even a little bit better, and why I've been here for 10 years, and maybe why we all have been here for 10 years. Looking back, what's my favorite video? I would say, you know, technically the video I did on Vivian Meyer is probably shot the best. It's the most creative and the most technically correct, and yeah, I'm really proud of that video, but that's not the one that I would want people to remember, and it's weird. The videos that I did the first 6 months of being on YouTube, those videos they're not shot well, the lighting is horrible, I'm not even in frame, but the heart is there, the spirit is there. And those videos would set the tone for the next 10 years. And I'm broken and I'm sad. I'm coming off a divorce. My mom died. I mean, you name it. I was going through it. And I missed my family. And for some reason, right from the very beginning, I knew there were other women out there that felt like I did, and I took a chance. So there's this one video where I'm showing my tiny little apartment, my tiny little kitchen, and I'm talking about how much I miss my family. And you related to that, and you began to trust me and relate to me. Slow down.
Wait, the candles are different? Green candles?
Oh yeah, look at that. Green candles burn green, red burn red.
You have to blow out your candles.
Oh,
all right?
wait.
Happy birthday to you.
That was aggressive, sorry. I didn't know that expect all the smoke.
As far as behind the scenes, we have conversations every week, in the comments. And usually I will take what you tell me from the week before and turn that into a video because it's something we care about. And I think that's kind of the magic formula of why this all works here, is because it's a give and take. And you give me as much as I give you. I think you give me more, actually. But it's never stale. We keep moving, and therefore it's easy. It's very easy to go out and film beauty, and that's what I try to do. I try to go out and film beauty, and I try to match the music to the subject of that particular week. And is it thought out? Yeah, it's pretty much thought out. Yeah. So many of you have been with me a long time, and I've been married 3 times, but from the questions, I'm picking up that you want to know who I married when, and who's the father of the son that I raised, Christopher. So let's do this, all right? When I was 18, I married John, a boy from Tennessee, and I was 8 months pregnant when we got married with my son, Chris, my son who just got married last year. We were married for a very long time, 8 months. It's the longest 8 months of my life. But anyway, so by the time I was 19, I had a baby and I'd been divorced. How about that? So when I was 23, I married Edward, a local disc jockey, fabulous man. I admired him so much. And we were married for 15 years, so I did hard time. In 1993, I met Bill, and we would be together for over 20 years. And Bill swept me off my feet, and I feel that he was my soulmate. I did not have any children with Ed, and I did not have any children with Bill. So I hope that sort of clarifies it. And the next question that you asked me is, what do I miss most about being married, since I've been married most of my life? Well, you know what I miss the most? That feeling of being safe. And I know most of the time, I've learned to feel safe on my own. I understand that. But there was something about, when I was married to Ed or Bill, if we had a big event that was going on, we have to be at the museum by 8 o'clock, Bill would just put his hand on my back and say, "You look great, honey, let's go." And then he'd drive us there, we'd be on time. And I know that sounds silly, but it was as if I didn't have to control everything myself. I had a partner, and I was safe. I knew if something broke, my husband would fix it. I knew if I woke up in the middle of the night with a bad dream that my husband would be there with a hug and a comforting word. I felt safe. It's funny. When Hal was here, he spent a few days with me when my son got married so he could get me to the church on time. I'm not the greatest driver. Now, don't tell Hal this, but when Hal was here, I felt like we were married, and I got that same old feeling of, I feel safe. I feel safe. Yeah. Feeling safe as we get older doesn't come from another person. It comes from within. We trust ourselves to do the right thing. And even if we fail, we know we'll make it right because we have to. So the question is, whatever happened to the neighbor that hates you? And do you still talk to him? And I usually would talk to John once a year, and John passed away in January. And so it hurt my heart. He was the most cantankerous man I ever knew, but he really did have a heart of gold. His brother called and said that there is a shoebox that is sealed up and has my name on it. So the next time I'm in Grand Rapids, I'm going to pick up that shoebox that John left me. My guess is that it's probably some of the gifts that I picked out for him. You know, he hated animals. So I would usually find, some squirrel or a frog or something and wrap it up. And he was a good man. He really was. Oh, Susan, I love your house and I love the way you've decorated it. Is this going to be your forever house? I hope so. It's not a big fancy house, but I think it's just perfect for me and Desi. It's just the right size. It's affordable. And, if I want to make it a little fancier, I can always, upgrade certain things. I can upgrade my bathroom. I can remodel the kitchen. I can remodel the little sunroom. I can make it bigger. I can put in new doors. There's endless things I can do. But my son once said to me, he said to me last Christmas, he said, Mom, if I were you, I wouldn't do a thing to that house. I just love it. But yeah, I understand. It's a very small, modest home. But it's mine. And I love my fireplace. And I love all the windows. And I love the backyard. And I have 2 different eating areas. And then I'm going to have a third because I'm having a fence put up in the backyard. And hopefully a little brick patio and a veranda, and I can just do a Linda Vader kind of vibe back there. Linda, help. But yeah, this is my home. Actually, I gotta be honest with you. This feels more like a home to me than any home I've ever lived in. It's just, I've cried here, I've laughed here, I've talked to you here. Yeah, my grandchildren are here. Yeah, so it's home, yeah. I get this question a lot. I have just retired and I am floundering. I am so depressed. I can't seem to find enough to do to keep me busy, to keep my mind occupied. I find myself feeling lethargic and depressed. I'm sleeping all the time, or I'm not sleeping at all. How do you start a new life after you retire? How do you get out there and get yourself on a schedule? Please help. What I had to do, because if you are prone to any kind of depression, you need structure. Structure, all human beings need structure in some way, right? And what I did is I got myself a big old diary and I use it every single day. And at night, I pencil in everything that I have to do the next day. Because if I don't do that, I will wake up in the morning and go, oh, it's Wednesday, now what? And then my mind goes blank because I just drift. I drift. I don't have a purpose. I need structure. And the structure that a job used to give me, I no longer have. I have to be self-motivating. Now, of course, I get up in the morning, I'm excited to go film. But for many years, there was no filming. And even if you do, get up in the morning and, I'm happy to film. Well, filming, that's 2 hours. What am I supposed to do with the other 14 hours in the day? So I have to have a planner, a diary. And if it's in that planner, I better do it. There's going to be hell to pay. So it makes me feel great, like, okay, 10 a.m., call the dentist, and 12 noon, have lunch with Sally, and blah, 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 get the garden supplies, do this, do that, and I'm busy. And my thing, this is my little thing, is I got to have 8 things in my planner every single day. I tell you, I wake up and I'm in such a fog. I open up the planner and just say, oh, thank God. Thank God that I have this structure. And maybe I don't get to every single thing that day, but then that's just a carryover. That's how I do it. I don't know how other people do it. Maybe you could chime in, but that's how I do it. And it works for me so much. And I am prone to, sometimes, being a little moody. And it helps so much. I am 7 years younger than you, and I'm having terrible problems with wrinkles and sagging. And could you tell me what are your 2 holy grails that maybe I could try? And, it really is, it's not just me, but I hear from all of you so much, privately or in comments. And when you wash your face with a glycolic acid, it's just like getting a spa treatment once a week. And this is the one that I use. I'll link it below. This is the one by L'Oreal that I'm so afraid they're going to take off the market. So many of you have written me that when you use the glycolic acid on your face, you give it like a 3-minute massage. And it does cause a little bit of peeling, but you have said that's the game changer. That's everything. That has improved sagging in it. It's improved the depth of the wrinkles. And so there you go. If you are using a glycolic acid wash on your face 3 or 4 times a week, then you are not having a lot of dead skin buildup. And if you follow that up with, maybe your favorite serum, or how I do with my favorite oils, pumpkin seed oil, rosehip seed oil. And I do use a couple serums that I love. I splurge on because I think they're just so luxurious. But they're very, very hydrating. And then I always, put a little castor oil at night before I go to bed. For years, I have used castor oil on my neck. I can go back and see videos that I did 9 years ago where I'm talking about castor oil on my neck, and then all of a sudden now it's the big hot thing, Use castor oil and, change your life. You'll be living in Palm Springs and dating a guy named Tad. What do you think, Susan? Is it okay to date at 72? Do you think you can find romance? And is it okay? My daughter said those days should be over for me, but I met this nice man at the pantry, and he asked me out. What do you think? I think you should go. I think we're never too old for romance. I think about, okay, I'm 70, and I'm bopping around town, and I'm alone, and I'm having fun. But, I have a counterpart somewhere. There's some 70-year-old man. He's just hanging out, slurping his soup by himself, right? He needs me. I just haven't met him. I don't think companionship has an expiration date when it comes to we women. So you know what? I'm just never going to give up. I like the company of a man. And what's wrong with that? It inspires me to paint my toes and brush my teeth and pay my taxes. I don't know what I'm saying now, but Susan, I started watching you a year ago, and it seems to me that you've been married 3 or 4 times and ended up pretty broke. Would you say that you regret that you ever got married at all? And no, I don't regret anything. I got married because I was in love, and that's that. I never put together with, well, what did I get out of it? Do you think that way? Did Bill leave me money so I could buy my house? And no, I did not inherit money from my husband, Bill. I saved for many years for my house. I took advantage of the incentives that were available for a first-time home buyer. I could not have any debt when I bought this house, not even a car payment. I had to have everything paid off. My credit had to be stellar. And I mean, not just good, but it had to be like stellar. So you had to have all your ducks in a row. And my YouTube income was not considered income. That's considered royalties. So what I had to do to qualify is I had to prove to the bank that I had an income besides my Social Security. And that had to be an extra $1,000. And so what was not considered royalties was the money I was bringing in from Venus or Bellway or any sponsorship that I took. And that's why I took quite a few sponsorships in there for a few years, because I was saving up for my house. And they could count that income. As you've noticed, I don't exactly have to do that anymore because I'm not saving up for a house.
Oh dear, I wasn't going to buy anything, but how much do I love that coat?
When I'm going to splurge, what is my biggest weakness? Is it furniture, things for the lawn, clothes, makeup? It's clothes. It's always been clothes. I don't know. I mean, I could need this or that, but boy, I have a lot of restraint and a lot of discipline when it comes to my money. Except walking down those aisles at Marshall's and I see this blouse and I gotta have it. I just have to have it. The color, the texture, it's just, I don't know. Clothes. I think it always will be clothes. I'm going to be 95 years old and I'm going to be going, hey, look I'm dressed like a china plate. Somebody asked me why I stopped doing anniversary videos, and it was because it just cut too deep. And whether you like me or not, I guess you'd have to, sort of admit that I never saw my channel as something casual. I never just threw it together and like, hey. There's not one video that I have that hasn't taken a piece of me to create it. We have over 500,000 comments over the last 10 years. Think about that. 500,000 of you have commented on something that we're talking about. Issues that, well, we don't know where to turn sometimes. What about menopause? What about depression? What about vitamin deficiency? Our healthcare system, our money, our Social Security, our well-being, our joy, the grief that we feel, the fear, the bravery, and all the things that we succeed at. We get to share that here. We're all just walking each other home. And I don't take that casual. And going back and showing old clips of me and Cooper, that can be very painful, but wonderful too. I don't know how to describe it. But we're in this together, and I so appreciate the 10 years that you have given me. What an honor it has been to be here. In my darkest hour, you have been there for me. Most of the peace and happiness that I have in my life, you gave me strength to pursue it. You gave me clarity. There are times in life as you get older where you don't see yourself ever reflected back, like you don't exist. And you remind me every week we not only exist, but we're damn important. And we have so much to do. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Someone asked me last week in the comments, I feel like you love me. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I tell you what, after 10 years, the journey isn't over. Our journey together is just beginning.
To be cool, trying to be those bad guys, smoking cigarettes behind.
Anyway, I am so excited to introduce you to a new member of my family, and his name is Desi.
I still think about what we had when we were younger. We were never running out of time. As long as we had each other, oh, everything was black and white. Driving in a car, never knowing how far we go.
For the last couple years, this building has sat empty. It was always my dream that I would have a building like this where people could come. Maybe they didn't have a lot of money, just college-age kids or anybody, and they could come and they could learn how to take a photograph, or they could learn how to make a video, and they could show their work, and it'd be like part school, part gallery. It's a dream that I started having years ago of where I would end up after I retired from YouTube. Desi's so tired today. We've been going on 2 walks a day. We are just having a wonderful time because the weather is getting warmer. But you wanted to know, how did I know when Desi could sing with me? And it was really by accident. My friend had come over to my apartment about, I want to say 6 years ago. And we were watching football. Well, he was. And he went like this, like, yay, woo, woo. And, every time there'd be a touchdown, we'd be like, woo. And after a while, we realized that every time we did this, Desi would sing. And then Desi heard the song Jingle Bells. I was singing Jingle Bells. And he went ballistic. He loves that song. There's no song that Desi loves as much as Jingle Bells. And so every time, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse Okay, you see what I mean? There's just something, it just happened by accident, and it's just the cutest thing. But Desi's very busy. He goes to the dog park, but mostly he's king of the backyard. He has friends, he has squirrels he talks to, he has birds he talks. He's like a little magic guy. He's just the perfect little guy. And I adopted him, and they told me that he was unadoptable. That he'd never been outside, and he wasn't good with people. He had an underbite and a crooked tail, and he was on sale for $47. He's the most wonderful dog, and thank you for loving him. I hope you liked the anniversary video this week. Please have yourself a wonderful brand new week. And when you're done with your week, you come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here.
very small piece. That's all. I don't care how
Okay.
you want
I
it.
want a big piece.
We might be ragged and funny, but we're traveling